Welcome to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. This is your number one crypto podcast to hear directly from the movers and shakers, innovators, and disruptors in the cryptocurrency industry. Follow on Twitter for updates and to communicate directly at Woof Big Dawg. That's at Woof Big DAWG. Now, here is your host, the one and only Big Dawg Crypto.
And welcome to the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. I am your host, Big Dawg Crypto. On this episode, I've got some guys that I ran into in a consensus in Austin. They've been building a project I've been following for a while, and glad to have them on the podcast just to kind of talk about what's going on. Carnomaly, okay? We have Scott, we have Jordan, and we have Larry. Guys, how are y'all doing today?
Fantastic.
Yeah, doing really good.
Nice. So let me start first if I could. So Scott, can you introduce yourself, introduce your position, and kind of tell the audience, who you are?
Scott Henniger, head janitor. I'm just kidding. Scott Henniger, founder, CEO of Carnomaly. Spent 18 years in the automotive industry and got into this space about 5 years ago. And really excited for what we're building. Cars and blockchain, the anonymity, it just all goes together. So really fun stuff. And, what we're bringing to the market, I think is going to be game changing. So excited.
Nice. Okay. And Larry, can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so over 2 decades in the automotive sector, not only dealerships in the beginning, but the automotive software side through dealer management systems, consumer follow-up, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So I ran into Scott after I'd left the prior company. I was going to take a sabbatical, and he convinced me about this time last year. We first met and talking. He told me about the project, and it sounded really interesting because me being on the other side of the fence, setting up non-anonymous, processes, workflows. Over discussions, I came on board as Chief Product and Technology Officer, and we're to the point now we're going to be releasing at the end of this month.
Okay, and Jordan, please tell me a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I spent 10 years in the IT field doing open source consulting, a lot of Linux-based systems, and then I got into crypto about 4 years ago, maybe 4.5 years ago at this point, as just the fun aspect side of it, just enjoying the technology. And then I got brought onto a project on the Avalanche C chain. We launched that protocol, and I was able to work with Chainlink on some of their first VRFs on the C chain. So that was a lot of fun. And then I met Scott, and so I've been involved with this project on Matic, and been a strategy officer here for the last about close to a year technically. I've been consulting with Scott a little bit longer than that, but hopped on here and did the white paper with him, and we're cruising. So
guys, look, thanks for doing the introductions there. And Scott, I want to get back. You joke about head janitor and the CEO. Let's talk about any sort of company. Okay, I don't care what company you're in the world. Any executive you talk to says, I do everything from if I got to take out the trash to doing sales calls to whatever. Okay, and I'm talking about whether you're talking to computer company, you're talking, let's say, computers or pizzas or whatever. This is really different because what you guys are doing is something that is so important. And I've said this even way before I had heard about your project, about the fact that blockchain is transparency, that any sort of real world asset, especially automotive, makes total sense. I actually had coffee or lunch with a friend of mine, the other day, who has worked some dealerships here in the city. And, he doesn't know too much about crypto, but was asking me. And I said, look, I'm talking to these guys at Carnomaly next week. And he said, well, what do they do? And I told him, and he said, and now this guy's worked in auto for years. He goes, wow, that's something the industry needs. Because look, let's call it like it is. And I want to ask you all to explain more about this, but I think to tell somebody that's tuning into the podcast for the first time or learning about this, to sit there and have something on chain where you cannot alter the odometer, right? You can't change the title. You can't do all that. This is something that's very needed for consumers. So I want to get back to, you, Scott, and everybody else, y'all are having to do all of this stuff yourselves, right? As a company that grows, and you're taking on a massive need in an industry. So let's start with the big thing, the main thing. What would you say your design has been coming to this point that you've gotten to and this is a lot to sum up, right? But to this point, Scott, if you could, and then what you're looking to do as we go forward to kind of explain what you're doing. I kind of gave a heads up, but you can much more detail, of course.
Yeah, I mean, so the project, in the beginning, it's Carnomaly. The name says it all. We're an automotive anomaly. But as we've gone through the last few years, the project has evolved. It's always had blockchain, but now we've learned how many more things we can do on the blockchain.
Right.
So basically buying cars, selling cars, working with dealers, working with consumers, and making everything simple, but also trackable, having vehicle history report where consumers can interact and also third-party companies can interact. So taking everything, simplifying it to one place, having all that data on blockchain, but also, like you said, having it can't be altered, it can't be changed.
Right.
For example, on the dealer side, talking about your friend on the dealer side, he probably has vehicles they wholesale. Well, these wholesale auctions, sometimes employees at the store could have a favorite wholesaler that they might give a better deal to. Well, with our solution, we're creating wholesale solutions that allow the dealers to have wholesalers bid on their cars, and it's on blockchain and it's anonymous. So at the end of the auction, the person that won the auction, it's all tracked on a blockchain. Nobody can manipulate, nobody can change it. That's who won, that's the bids, and it's right then and there. And the same thing on the consumer side. So if a consumer sells a vehicle or puts a vehicle up for bid and dealers bid on it, there's no manipulation or there was a higher bid or a lower bid. This is who won, and this is on the blockchain. We have proof of this, and it's all anonymous, but we can identify it on the blockchain and find out who it was or who it wasn't. So just a lot of things that we've been building, a lot of applications and ideas that continue to come to the forefront. And we have so many more ideas coming, down the road. But to sum it up, basically buying and selling cars, servicing vehicles, vehicle history on blockchain. That's what we are, automotive anomaly for both dealers and consumers, bringing them together to simplify the sales and process on both sides.
And I want to say something real quick on that, because even way before I had talked to you guys, even way before I had heard of your project, I'm talking years ago. Like I said, my close friend that's been in automotive for years, I'm very familiar. And look, a lot of people may not be about this, about how the auction process works and whatnot. So I mean, I've heard for years stories about that. And when I say stories, I mean just all the stuff that happens, some good, bad, in between. But the one thing it's fair to say is that there has not always been the full transparency, the full transparency that basically takes away the preferential treatment, right? Because we all know blockchain doesn't lie. It is there. It cannot be altered. It's immutable, and that's what's up. So it's bad. Like I said, I don't have automotive history myself. I just have my friend and other friends that are in it. And so to hear about what y'all were doing, I was like, this is so cool because it's needed. And I think anybody going to buy a car now, and of course, internet, you can research stuff, realizes, okay, wow, this is something that they're bringing to the table, which is definitely a big deal and needed. Let's talk, because one of the questions I get a lot, we've seen in the groups of people asking, online, the app. Can you tell me a bit about the app?
Yeah, so the app has gone through some iterative changes, right? We're going to be rolling that out at the end of this month. And, just outside of just scanning my VIN, and scanning my odometer, you can't type in the mileage. We have an OCI reader that will read the odometer reading and plug it right into the app itself. So right there is, reducing the manipulation of miles on my car. Being in the business for a while, Scott's come across this too. Well, it has 68,000 miles on it. You rise of the dealership, no, it has 86,000 miles on it. Oh, it must have transposed the number. Well, that removes all that. The anonymity for a consumer to go ahead, grab their phone, download the app, scan their VIN, scan their odometers, and not even create a login. They're getting their vehicle and their information. We know who you are, like most other apps. Your gains, we know that that phone has the app on it. We can in-app messages. It's truly anonymous to scan my vehicle, upload my odometer, walk around, do pictures. You've seen the videos of that process on the Twitter feed, and then smash get a quote button that's going to go to dealerships within the network to place a bid on that vehicle. I don't know who that dealer is. That's totally removed from it. You don't know who the person that just outbid you is. We're just focusing on the vehicle and not getting to all this personal data, emails, phone calls, text messages, where you're going to get, your phone's going to blow up. You're going to get 100 emails. You're going to get 50 text messages over the next 30 to 40 days, even if you bought somewhere else or bought at that dealership. So it removes all that. On the auction side, the dealership can create an internal account on the app and scan potential vehicles from their service drive to populate on the dashboard for their manager. So again, I don't need to have all these equity tools. I know that I need 2018 through 2021 Honda Accords and Nissan Sentras for a low-priced inventory price mark for my people. And it's just another funnel for these dealerships to get inventory, and not only for consumers, but other dealerships, and potentially down the road, rental car companies that can sign up and put their vehicles up for auction, and the small mom and pop pre-owned dealers.
Okay, so you're bringing up something which is going to lead me into one of the questions we've got, because we ask people to ask on X and whatnot. Let it formerly Twitter, right now X. Please let us know your questions. And one of the biggest ones we're getting is, how has it been signing up dealers? What has been the reception when you've gone to them? And how is it looking for dealers coming on board this year?
Right. So we had some hand raisers early on. I just submitted a request to set up an account, and to that person, and to your point, yes, I sent it to myself and I did it. Mm-hmm. So the people that have raised their hand earlier are going to be our alpha and beta testers. And then we do have dealerships in the pipeline to onboard to this process. And it's more than just scanning vehicles. We're going to get their inventory that goes in a place that's called Card Lot, where I can take that F-150 that's been sitting on my lot for 60 days. Got to get rid of it. It's ruining my floor plan. That's my financing for my inventory that's on the lot. And I want to get rid of that in an auction format. And, I may be auctioning it, in a place where a dealership needs some good quality pre-owned F-150s, maybe a business or a fleet or service company that we can onboard later. But more importantly, it's going to start out as dealers and buyers and wholesalers in those vehicle auctions, dealer to dealer, and of course the consumer aspect, and internal customers from the service drive, and people that want to trade their vehicles will be scanned into.
Yeah. So
and also, a bit on the dealer side, it's have worked on that side of the business. Dealers are always wanting something that's new, is something that comes to market that helps them sell more cars, helps them to acquire more vehicles. So the dealer response has been great. And as far as the second half of your question, our goals are to have several hundred by the end of the summer, and maybe even 500 to 1,000 by the end of the year, dealers on board, and then span that all the way U.S., Canada, and then over into Europe and other markets. So our long-term goal is, to basically, this logo right here, everyone knows what that is. Everyone knows what Carnomaly is.
Right. And that, like anything, right, in crypto, as people jump on, as businesses come on, then you tend to get more and more. That's just how it goes, right? Because one dealer says, talks to the other one, oh, you're on, I'm doing it too, and whatnot. Let me ask you this too. When we talk about the blockchain and people ask, can you tell us a bit about the blockchain and the goals with that? Can you share a bit on that?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Go ahead.
So there's a couple goals, I suppose, that we have set internally, and I guess the hopes for the whole industry as a whole. We want regulation to get to a point to where obviously it's a little bit more welcoming and transparent with everything. We're able to do what we're able to do and be very, I guess, comprehensive towards what we do know, and work towards the achievable goals, and still be the first movers for I guess the veil that keeps lifting as it keeps lifting. But I guess in the simplest form, we want to get the reward mechanism rolled out for the platform users, single side staking, so that as a user you can lock up your tokens for X amount of time, and when you lock them up for that amount of time, you'll unlock the perks and rewards within the app, connecting you with the dealers. There's a version of that works for just basic users, and there's also a version of that works for the enterprise side, of the dealership side, the business side. So that'll make the, I guess, much more lucrative on the administration side for them to have first looks into people that are selling their cars, and I guess make the inventory windows much more transparent to the user side. And vice versa, if you're a user and you have them locked up, one of the perks would be that you kind of go to special filters so that the dealerships can actually see your cars right away. So there's tons of mechanisms, tons of utilities built into it. But a lot of it with, I guess, on the blockchain side of things, we have to make sure we handshake that correctly. It's comprehensive, and it's set up in a position to keep expanding the way we want it to expand. But that's one of the main focuses right now as far as the blockchain side.
So we've got a lot of questions for people Plans to add more exchanges right now? The ones that are on are good, but are you thinking about adding some more? Can you say anything of that? And I know too, from having worked with projects, there's NDAs. You can't disclose things a lot of times too. But is there anything for the people that are watching, that are listening, that they're saying, hey, look, I just want to see, is there more, more exchanges? Can you add anything right now?
Yeah, we're in discussion with 4 exchanges as we speak right now, and we're going to be bringing on more exchanges. Obviously, our goal is to be on the best exchanges to provide the token, because this token is going to be used, not only by consumers but also by dealers. So dealers will be able to use the token to pay for monthly services through Carnomaly, on the platform and things like that. So having the token available and in the right, on the right exchanges where it's available is very important. So yeah, we're in talks with a lot of exchanges, and as we grow and continue to build, we'll build those exchanges as well.
Okay, so right now, so you are looking, just to be clear, so you are definitely looking at some more exchanges that are in the pipeline, because everybody wants to know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In the immediate future, yes.
Right. Okay. Very cool. And I always say that because it's always hard for a team, because people always ask price and stuff, and y'all have been amazing about saying, look, we are developing, we're building. But the fact is, you do have a growing community, and I have just several accounts that I followed that have X'd about you, that have talked about you, so I can see the people that are interested, right? That are getting more and more interested, and they want to know. And that's the thing. Like when they go into a project, they want to know as much as they can about it, right? They want to know, what is it doing, where is it going, and there's been a lot of excitement behind Carnomaly, so it's kind of cool to hear that. Let me ask you this one kind of final thing, and that's kind of like one question after that. But can you share anything particularly for the people that are following the project, whether they're in it now or they're thinking of getting into it, that you'd like them to think about, to look forward to, right, over the next, let's just say, 3rd and 4th quarter of this year?
I would say that, the team and I, Larry, Jordan, myself, and the developers and everyone else consulting with the team, we're very open-minded. We know that this space changes. This space has new things, the new shiny thing or whatever it is. Right. And we're very open to ideas and creating new things and new opportunities. But, once you stop developing, your project dies. Once you stop coming out with new things, your project dies. And we're not going to let this project die. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to be on the forefront of automotive, on blockchain technology, and coming out with, new features, new opportunities. So we're not going anywhere, basically. Like I said, this logo, this is the whole reason behind the logo is it's branding. We are branding Carnomaly. We want it to be what people think of when they want to buy or sell a car, to connect to a dealer, to get the most money for their trade, to find the new vehicle they want, to get their vehicle serviced, to get an accurate vehicle history report. We want this logo to become something that it's a household name, right? That's our goal.
Yeah, I'll bring some. I'm going to flip the interview here, right, Big Dog? I was walking down through Consensus, right? You did a double take, and what did you see?
I saw the logo. I did, and I looked.
You turned around and goes,
"Let me try and talk to
you're
him."
a car guy, right?
That,
and that's what prompted us meeting. You're doing
that's marketing,
yeah. So
no, but you're right about that. I recognize the logo, right? I had to follow the project. I'm like, I want to talk to the guys. And you're right. Had I not seen the logo or recognized it, then I wouldn't have known. But that's branding. That's what works. Absolutely. You're right.
And then, and add to what Scott had run through. We have a synergy within the team between Jordan, Scott, myself. You've seen videos for Danny and Andrew, the developers. They'll be doing one here in a couple of days and getting that on. But, we understand, what the goal is, how we're going to get there, and what the functionality is going to be in the simplest, most effective way for not only the consumers, but the dealerships, buyers, wholesalers, and anybody else that's using this in the future, whether it's anonymous trading or dealer-to-dealer bidding or future maintenance updates, insurance, and the things that can come from that. If I'm in an accident, a checklist is in the long-term roadmap. So yeah, we have a lot of growth ideas that has mainly come out of Scott, but also, for me being on board is documenting what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and when's it going to release and go. And of course, making sure that we have a good product that's thoroughly put through the QA process, so when it hits the marketplace, we don't have a bunch of comments. I'll just leave it at that. We got a product that's quality, that works, and is going to be grasped in the marketplace.
I like that. I like that. So one final thing, I'm asking everybody how to get in touch with you, but one final on a personal question, each one of you guys, and I'm going to start with you if I could. You work a lot. I get that. You're going nonstop. What do you like to do when you're not working? What's a hobby or two? So community learns a little bit about you personally. Like, can you tell us something?
Well, I live in Destin, Florida. So
nice area. Like
the water's emerald, and I go out on a jet boat. So that occupies my time outside of this, and of course, working at night.
And I just tell real quick because I'm here in New Orleans. For our worldwide community, Destin, Florida has some of the best. I mean, you're talking like as nice as the Caribbean and other areas of the world. It has some great water, but Destin water and fishing is just top notch. Okay, Jordan, what about you, brother? Tell me.
Oh, I'm a self-proclaimed nerd, I suppose, but I'm really big into comic books and pop culture history. I have a wide collection of anything under the sun when it comes to that, and it's in history in general. I like reading a lot about history, and that's kind of my thing. And also, my son he turned 1 in April, and so it's obviously a large part of my time right now, happily. So
it's not like you have a lot of free time, but when you do have, you've got obviously.
When I do, I'm trying to catch up in the world of
understandable
Superman.
Okay, and Scott, what about you, man? I know you're going nonstop, but when you have your limited free time, what do you do?
I actually sit here and think about how I wish I was in Destin, Florida with Larry.
I hear you.
I love to cook. One of my big hobbies and kind of a stress relief is I'm a big foodie and love to, I'm a self-proclaimed, chef, I guess you could say. I love to grill out, cook pizza, cook steak, whatever it is. And, also I've been getting back into golf. So it's a little hot in Texas right now to golf. So
I was going to say, you should get on I-10, go see Larry. He can catch you some fish and you can cook it. So.
Yeah, that's what I need to do is go down there to Florida and golf.
Yeah, right. All right, guys.
Scott,
so let me ask you, I know y'all are busy.
Scott,
what's that?
I was say Scott's not kidding, because like I'll be sitting there eating breakfast, and Scott will send me a picture of what he cooked, and I'm like, what is this garbage that I'm eating?
Nice.
Yeah, I get those too, Jordan.
Oh, there you go.
So let me ask you, just kind of wrap up, tell the audience, what's the best way to get in touch with Carnomaly? What's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Check us out on Twitter. We update every day. We try to send out tweets and updates and ask fun facts about automotive or give fun facts about automotive. We also try to get, community engagement on Twitter. We're also carnomaly.io, or you can email us at info@carnomaly.com. Just reach out. We're always here, always willing to answer questions, and, just be there for the community.
Sounds good. Well, guys, look, I appreciate you taking your time to be on. Looking forward to the development and continued progress of the project. Like I said, I have so many people that I know personally been watching it and they like it. So it's kind of like a chance to have you guys on the podcast. I said, absolutely. So thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. The latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast with Carnomaly. Thanks so much.
You've been listening to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. Follow on Twitter at WoofBigDawg. Woof, big DAWG. And run faster than the competition. Woof, woof.